A keyboard icon makes its return, and spoiler alert, it's really good. Let's take a look at the Think 6.5 V3. Hit the B-roll. So the Think 6.5 V3 is currently in group buy over at Gray Studio with the starting price of $385 and goes up to $415 depending on the PCB and finish that you select. Group buy is set to end May 10th, but it may end early if orders reach production capacity. So you might want to make your decision pretty quick. They have a ton of color options to choose from, such as Iceberg, Robocop, Darth Vader, Coffee, Lilac, Mecha 01, Navy, Royal Red, Royal Green, Ocean, Cream, Pink Star, Stormtrooper White, and Quicksilver, which is the one that I have. You can purchase the keyboard in either FlexCut PCB or non-FlexCut PCB. Now the one that they sent me is a non-FlexCut version. Yeah, and it sounds fantastic without the use of any foams. Check it out. They also offer a lot of extras that you can add, like different plate options, badges, weights, so your cart can add up pretty quickly, so keep that in mind when you're shopping. Now included with the kit, you're going to get the case of your choice, a 1.2mm PCB in either hot swap or solder, along with the choice of FlexCut or non-FlexCut PCB. And as far as layout support is concerned, hot swap PCBs only have the option for a stepped caps lock with a 6.25 spacebar. So if you're looking for more options, solder is the way to go. You can do 7U spacebar, split backspace, step caps, split left shift, and ISO. The PCB also has these LEDs for the 2U blocker on the right side of the keyboard. Now the two options you have for the plates are going to be polycarbonate and FR4, and you also have the option for an aluminum plate, which will cost you a little bit more cash. The top case will have the badge with the LED diffuser and a little rubber blocker to prevent light leak, and it works really well. You will get two types of silicone gaskets. One is their gasket slippers, which slide onto each side of the plate mounting points, and the other is a full gasket sock that covers the entire mounting point. The foams that are going to be included is the silicone noise reduction case foam, pour-on plate foam, and an IXPE PCB foam. They also include an ESD installation foam to prevent the PCB from shorting. The tool set is also included, which comes with all Gray Studio boards, which I find to be quite premium, along with extra screws, rubber feet, and some backup SMD LEDs. All this comes in a beautifully designed package that Gray Studio is known for. Now let's take a look at the design for a moment. Gray Studio and OldCat gave the Think a complete facelift for the V3 while holding on to its distinct characteristics from the past. The side profile looks absolutely dope. These swooping lines add so much depth that you really have to see in person to appreciate. The top case has rounded corners with chamfered edges, giving it a really premium look and feel. I especially like how the chamfer depth increases next to the 2U spacebar. It draws your eye to that gorgeous RGB LED that the Think 6.5 is known for. The trapezoid back weight and frame look stunning. And it's the small details like the raised bottom lip on the front case and the Think icons on the decoration bar above the centered USB-C port are the type of details you'd expect at this price point. Overall, this may be the best design Gray Studio and OldCat have put out to date. It's stunning. The typing angle is 6.5 degrees with a front height of 19.5 millimeters. Fully built, the Think 6.5 comes in at 3.35 pounds or 1.52 kg. The build process is pretty easy, especially compared to the Space 65 Round 3 and the Aero 75, which both use that mid-case design, which was really nice but required a lot more work if you wanted to open up the case. I think there was a total of 20 screws. Damn. But the Think V3 only has 8 internal screws, which keeps the bottom of the board looking clean, and it's pretty easy to open up. All you have to do is remove some keycaps to get the screws, but you won't need to remove switches, which is great. Now when building, you're going to need to choose which gasket type you want to use. The gasket sleeve is a stiffer typing experience, so go with that if that's what you like. The gasket slippers can be used in 3 different ways, which give you a slightly different feel depending on which way you go with, so this is something you want to play around with and find what suits your preferences. Me, I like the slippers in this position, which provides the softest typing experience. Now this brings me to type and feel. Now I'm using a non-FlexCut PCB, and it's a really nice and soft typing experience that doesn't feel harsh and is comfortable throughout the day to use. Using the FlexCut PCB will probably accentuate the bounce even more, but it does come at the cost of a fuller sounding keyboard. Now I don't have one in hand, so that's just a guess. But if you plan to use all the foams, you can go either way with the PCB. Totally up to you. In this build, I'm using a FR4 plate with my new Clagbit switches. Now these are full palm, long pull switches that are available in limited quantities over at KNC Keys. We'll be donating over 30% of the profits to build water wells in villages that don't have access to fresh water around the world. Now, I've made a full video on these switches, which you can find in the description of this video. So how does the Think V3 sound? It sounds superb. It's very clean with a hint of resonance in the case. Now I wouldn't call it hollow, but I do think that it adds a nice little bit of character to the sound profile. With the non-FlexCut PCB, you can use it with zero foams if that's your thing, or you can foam it up for that deep, thocky sound. Overall, I prefer using this keyboard in either a zero foam configuration or using plate foam combined with the IXPE foams together. I found that the silicone case foam dampens the spacebar more than I'd like, but your mileage may vary. I have a few typing tests coming up giving you a general idea of how the foams will affect the sound. And that's all I got for this one. The Think 6.5 V3 is an absolute banger of a keyboard. Looks, typing feel, and sound are all top notch, and it's what I've come to expect with a great studio keyboard. So some of you may be wondering, I already picked up the Space 65 Round 3, is it worth even picking up the Think 65 version 3? Well, I'll say this, at first when I saw the new Think 65 V3, I was worried that it's going to be very similar to the Space 65 and the Aero 75, but they did do something completely different here. They removed that mid-case piece, which gives this keyboard a different sound signature than the Space 65 Round 3. To me, if you're in the market for another 65 keyboard and you love what Grey Studio does, I think it's worth picking this keyboard up because it will give you a different sound profile, an easier build process, and a different look than the Space 65. I may actually like this more than the Space 65 Round 3, which is saying a lot. If you don't mind, like the video and subscribe if you want to see more. Enjoy the typing test. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.